You awaken not to the shrill cry of a metal bell or the relentless buzz of a machine, but to the soft whisper of dawn brushing across rooftops. The city is still wrapped in its last folds of sleep, draped in the muted palette of morning mist and gentle shadows. Close your eyes again if you like. The world waits patiently outside your window, allowing you to linger in the liminal space between night and day. Take a deep breath and feel the cool air of the early morning. It carries the faintest hint of wet earth, the soft sweetness of bread being baked in distant kitchens, and the subtle warmth of fires dying down from the night before. Listen, for there is a rhythm to it, rhythm of life waking slowly, deliberately in a world without the harsh urgency of clocks. Imagine yourself stepping softly onto the cobblestones of an old city. The streets curve gently, carrying the echo of footsteps long past and the hush of horse hooves on stone. Chimneys puff slender trails of smoke, curling upward like ink sketches in the pale sky. Shop shutters, still lowered, catch the first kiss of sunlight, and in some corners, dew gathers on moss and lichen, trembling in tiny crystal drops. This is the city you will explore tonight, not with eyes wide open and hurried, but with a mind slow and attentive, a heart attuned to the subtleties of ordinary life. It is a city before alarms, before watches clutched anxiously in hands, before the relentless measurement of minutes. People live by the rising sun, the turning of seasons, the sound of church bells, or the gentle knocking on a door. And here, you will meet them, not all at once, but in quiet moments, fleeting and intimate. Your guide through this world is neither a historian nor a teacher, but a soft observer of rhythm, a witness to the gentle pulse of lives unfolding without urgency. We will walk together along streets still damp with night, under the dim glow of lanterns and torches that flicker like fireflies caught in glass. The air is rich with scent, smoke and dew, bread and straw, leather and ink-canned. Every inhalation draws you deeper into a world forgotten by the clock-driven hands of the modern age. Perhaps you notice the city feels larger than the sum of its streets and houses. Time itself seems to stretch. A single moment can expand like a pool of sunlight on a stone wall, revealing the smallest details. The curve of a doorstep, the faint footprints in a muddy alley, the distant song of a bird just waking. Let your attention drift there for a while. Let it rest. And now, as dawn continues to break softly across rooftops, we come to the first people you might see the knocker. They are a peculiar sort, figures who have faded from memory in our world of digital alarms and vibrating watches. You can almost hear their footsteps before you see them. A gentle tap, a polite knock, a rhythm repeated from window to window. They carry slender sticks or poles, or perhaps a long baton tipped with a soft leather pad. And they move with care through the quiet streets, tapping on shutters and doors, ensuring that those who sleep will wake at the proper hour. Pause for a moment and imagine this scene in detail. One knocker-upper, a man of slight frame and gentle eyes, walks past a row of houses. Each knock is deliberate, neither hurried nor loud. Inside, families stir slowly. A mother shifts in her bed. A child murmurs in dreams. A baker leans from his window to peek at the first glow of day. All around, the city breathes with a softness rarely felt in modern mornings. There is a rhythm here, a poetry in repetition. The knockers-up are both guardians and conductors of the city's quiet symphony. Their movements are soft, their presence respectful. They are the bridge between night and day, sleep and awakening. As you watch them, you feel a curious serenity. Time feels generous, stretching like the pale light across the rooftops. You notice the texture of stone, the faint shimmer of frost on the thatch, the hush of a dog stirring in a corner yard. You can step closer if you like, or simply float above it all, suspended in a world where time is a feeling, not a measurement. Each knock echoes softly in your mind, a gentle punctuation in the narrative of life. Here, the day does not arrive abruptly. It emerges slowly in small sounds and sights, in the careful tending of ordinary work, in the intimate, tender rhythms of a city that has yet to meet the tyranny of the clock. Take a moment to breathe. Notice your own heartbeat, soft and steady. Feel the calm rise from your chest, filling you like the morning fills the streets. The city is alive around you, but it does not hurry. It waits, and now, with the sun climbing higher, though still muted by haze and mist, you begin to sense the subtle choreography of the day. The baker preparing dough, the milkmaid making her rounds, the gentle shifting of families from beds to benches, from blankets to sunlight. And somewhere nearby, a knocker-upper moves toward your imagined window. You hear a gentle tap, barely louder than a sigh, and the world seems to pause with you listening. You are not disturbed. You are gently called into wakefulness, not of the body, but of the imagination, of curiosity, of observation. The city itself invites you to step fully into its dawn. So linger here a little longer. Feel the calm, the softness, the muted wonder of a city that lives without clocks. Notice the way light folds over rooftops, the way sounds settle into silence, the way the day stretches forward like a promise rather than a demand. This is your space, your time, your gentle passage into history. And soon, as we walk together through streets and homes, through ordinary lives and forgotten professions, through moments large and small, you will feel the city wake around you as softly as you do. Tonight, let yourself be a witness. Let yourself float through this world in the quiet company of dawn, with the tap of a knocker-upper echoing gently behind you. Nothing urgent here, nothing to chase or measure, only the slow unfolding of life in all its delicate, everyday beauty. And as you breathe and listen, the city, too, seems to recognize your presence, welcoming you softly into its waking day. Step lightly along the cobblestones as the city begins to breathe more fully. The first rays of dawn stretch across rooftops like pale ribbons of silk, and you notice the way the light pools in quiet corners on windowsills, in doorways, across the curves of stone arches. Everything here is softened, muted by mist and the lingering hush of night, yet already humming with a gentle, expectant energy. The streets themselves seem to carry memory. Each stone is worn smooth by countless footsteps over decades, centuries even, whispering stories if you listen closely. The sound of your own footsteps is absorbed, softened, blending into the faint creak of a gate, the rustle of laundry hanging on lines, the low murmur of early voices. The city is waking, but on its own slow terms, not according to the harsh commands of a clock. Look up. The chimneys puff slender clouds that drift lazily toward the sky, dissolving into the pale wash of morning. The air smells faintly of smoke, wood, and damp earth, a mingling that is comforting rather than sharp. You may catch the sweet hint of freshly baked bread, still warm from last night's ovens, or the faint tang of hay from a nearby barn. Every sense is invited into the quiet choreography of this world. In some streets, shutters remain closed, though a soft light glows behind them, promising life stirring within. You can imagine the interiors: rough wooden tables, bowls of porridge or tea, the quiet brushing of hair, the gentle murmur of a parent or sibling greeting the day. Outside, a cat stretches languidly along a wall, tail curling like a question mark, while a dog raises its head in lazy curiosity, nose twitching at the mingled scents of street and hearth. Take a slow breath and notice how the city feels almost fluid. Buildings do not crowd you. They lean and fold around you like pages of an ancient storybook. Narrow alleys invite exploration, cobbled passages opening into broader squares where fountains catch the soft, reflective light. The surfaces of these squares are slick from night rain or morning dew, and when the sun finally touches them, it scatters gold across stone and puddle alike. Here, time is not marked by hours or minutes. Instead, it is measured in the subtle changes around you. The way the mist lifts from a rooftop, revealing the faint red of tiles. The way the first birds take flight, their wings slicing through the pale sky. The way smoke curls upward, then dissipates. You begin to sense that life itself flows like this, in currents and rhythms, gentle and patient, unfolding without the insistence of measurement. As you walk, you may notice the soft sounds of industry stirring. In one corner, a blacksmith hammers slowly, deliberately, the iron ringing like a soft chime, echoing across the quiet streets. In another, a baker stretches dough, fingertips dusted with flour, shaping loaves with tender care. The movement is deliberate, human, guided by skill rather than the press of a clock. You hear the faint murmur of voices, neighbors exchanging greetings. A child laughing softly in a courtyard, the distant call of a market seller preparing for the day ahead. Everything is textured here. Touch the cool stone walls if you like. Feel the grain of timber in a doorframe, the rough weave of a basket left on a windowsill. Taste the air damp, earthy, sweet with the early fragrances of cooking and freshly turned soil. Hear the low hum of water flowing from a fountain or down a gutter, a soothing undertone that blends with the more transient sounds of human activity. Smell the faint tang of leather from a craftsman's apron, or the lingering scent of flowers tucked in window boxes. These details, so small, become a meditation, a gentle tethering of your attention to the texture of a world that exists without urgency. Notice the people now as they begin to emerge. Farmers trudge along streets, carrying baskets of produce, soil still clinging to their boots. Laundry sways gently on lines, kissed by a tentative breeze. Children appear, rubbing sleep from their eyes, curious and slow, their laughter like scattered notes of music. The city is alive, but it does not roar. It murmurs, breathes, stretches, and then, always, there is the knocker. Perhaps you glimpse a figure in the distance, slender and steady, stick in hand, moving along the facades. Their rhythm is measured, soft but insistent, a heartbeat of the waking city. Every knock is a gentle nudge, a promise of morning. You may imagine the faces of those being roused. A baker blinking into the dawn, a seamstress rising with quiet purpose, a child reluctantly untangling from blankets. Moving silently through the city's dreamlike corridors, tending silently through the city's dreamlike corridors, tending to the fragile passage from night to day. Allow yourself to linger on these small movements. There is a harmony here, a slow unfolding that requires neither rush nor resistance. Time stretches. Each detail becomes a thread in a broader tapestry. The sway of a branch outside a window, the glint of dew on cobblestones, the soft scratch of quills against paper as some scholar begins to record the day. You can follow a single sound, a single motion, and let it carry you deeper into the gentle immersion of place and life. Notice the light as it shifts. Where once the world was pale and muted, it begins to warm. Gold flecks scatter across rooftops and windowsills. Shadows retreat slowly, revealing textures that were hidden in the night. Roof tiles gleam. Stone edges glow faintly. The glass in a distant window catches the light like a tiny sun. Every surface is alive, every detail a meditation. You feel the subtle expansion of awareness that comes when the world is observed slowly, patiently, without hurry. Step closer to the markets that are beginning to stir. Vendors lay out produce, carefully arranging fruits and vegetables by color, by shape, by weight. The aroma of fresh bread and baked goods intensifies, mingling with the smell of herbs, wool, and livestock. You might notice a stall selling pottery, its glazed surfaces catching the soft sunlight. A potter's hands are stained with clay, worn and gentle, shaping vessels not to rush, but with care and attention. The tactile nature of their work invites reflection, a slowing of thought, a meditation on the beauty of human craft. And beyond the streets, notice the rhythm of nature threaded through the city. Trees sway gently, their leaves brushing against one another with a soft sigh. Birds glide overhead, calling out softly, sometimes landing on rooftops or ledges, pecking at crumbs left by early risers. The wind, barely a whisper, carries scents and sounds between streets, knitting the city together in a quiet, unseen choreography. As you move through this space, you may sense something peculiar, that the absence of clocks, of enforced measurement, does not produce chaos, but a kind of gentle order. People rise when they are ready, work when the moment feels right, rest when fatigue comes, eat when hunger calls. The city breathes in time with its inhabitants, not according to a mechanical rhythm, slow, deliberate, and harmonious. Take a final slow breath and let the city sink into your awareness fully. Notice how your senses have been attuned to textures, sounds, smells, the subtleties of light and shadow. Let your attention rest on the subtle pulse of life, the quiet movements that signify awakening. the invisible hand of rhythm guiding the day forward. You are now deeply immersed in this place, prepared to step further into the lives of those who call it home, to feel the daily rituals, the intimacy of ordinary moments, the texture of humanity lived softly, without hurry, without pressure. The city is yours to explore, and yet it moves around you as a calm, living organism. Its stories, small and grand, whisper in every corner, every sound, every shaft of light. And as you walk slowly, deliberately, you are invited to feel a part of this world, its rhythms, its textures, its quiet, unfolding beauty. Soon, you will encounter the daily lives of its people, both the ordinary and the intimate, the work that fills hours and the small, private moments that pass unnoticed. But for now, simply notice, observe, breathe. Let the city speak to you in its own time, its own gentle cadence. As the city fully wakes, allow yourself to drift alongside its streets and lanes, letting the pulse of life rise softly around you. The day moves slowly here, measured not by ticking hands, but by routine, instinct, and the gentle tug of sunlight across rooftops and courtyards. Look closely, for every moment carries its own quiet poetry. In the open squares, merchants begin to arrange their wares with care. Wooden crates of apples, pears, and citrus glint in the morning sun, dew still clinging to their skins like tiny jewels. The scent of spices drifts faintly from a stall further down the street. Cinnamon, clove, dried herbs mingling in a warm, earthy perfume. Bakers roll dough and slide loaves into ovens, their surfaces crisping and browning in the soft heat. A comforting aroma that spreads through the neighborhood. Every smell, every sound, every movement feels deliberate, gentle, unhurried. Outside the city walls, the fields are alive with motion. Farmers stride across tilled soil, hands rough with labor, yet steady and careful. Oxen pull plows with rhythmic patience, hoofbeats echoing faintly across the earth. You may notice a shepherd leading sheep along a shaded path, the wool soft beneath your imagined touch. The animals moving with a calm, almost meditative pace. Kids, barefoot and carefree, are chasing each other through sunlit patches, their laughter floating like a gentle breeze through the fields. The rhythm of trade begins to emerge. Fishmongers unload baskets of silver-scaled fish from boats docked at the riverbank, the water gently lapping against timber and stone. The air is cool and carries the faint, briny scent of the river, mingling with the warmth of the sun on the quay. Leatherworkers, carpenters, weavers perform their crafts with care, each movement purposeful and rhythmic. Tools and materials. There is no rush here. Work is a living, breathing process, unfolding naturally with the day. Listen closely, and you can hear the city's heartbeat. It is in the clip of horse hooves on stone, the hum of voices exchanging greetings, the soft creak of carts rolling along uneven streets. It is in the rustle of linen, the slap of a door closing gently, the distant toll of a bell, marking not the hour, but the gentle progression of morning. Each sound blends into the next, creating a layered melody of everyday life. Notice the diversity of movement. Women carry baskets on their heads, balancing with practiced ease, their footsteps light and precise. Men adjust the sails of small riverboats, the fabric snapping softly in the breeze. Children skip along narrow lanes, their feet disturbing the morning dust in playful spirals. The city is alive, yet it does not shout. Its vitality is a quiet undercurrent, felt more than heard, observed more than proclaimed. At the outskirts, the soundscape changes. Cattle low softly in pastures, birds call from the hedgerows, and the gentle rush of a stream adds a fluid undertone to the city's rhythm. Farmers pause to drink from the water or straighten the wooden beams of a fence. Each action deliberate, unhurried, mindful. The natural world and the human world blend seamlessly here, and you can sense their interdependence, the mutual patience with which they move. Returning to the central streets, you may notice the rituals of preparation for commerce and trade. A candle maker dips wicks into molten wax, the liquid glimmering gold in the morning light. A potter spins clay on a wheel, fingertips leaving trails that are both practical and quietly beautiful. Each craft carries its own rhythm, a steady pulse that contributes to the city's collective tempo. Watch closely as hands shape, hammer, stir, and smooth. Every motion is both work and meditation, a poetry of daily existence. Food preparation is a subtle performance of its own. Bread is kneaded, cheese is pressed, grains are sorted and stored. The aromas combine in a gentle symphony. The warm tang of dough, the sweet scent of honey, the earthy richness of herbs. You might imagine yourself leaning against a doorframe, inhaling these mingled scents, feeling your body relax with the comforting knowledge that all is as it should be. The weather adds its own texture. A breeze lifts dust and straw, carrying hints of distant forests or freshly turned earth. Clouds drift lazily overhead, their edges softened by the morning sun. Occasionally, a light rain falls, pattering gently on rooftops and streets, creating the faint, steady music of droplets on stone and wood. The city does not mind the weather. It adapts, moves with it, and continues its rhythms with patient grace. People move in overlapping layers. A seamstress threads a needle, the click of her scissors soft against the table. A young apprentice follows a master craftsman, learning the subtle art of shaping metal. A milkmaid delivers her pails, the clinking of tin, gentle and melodic. Each individual contributes to the overall flow, like instruments in a quiet orchestra, and you can feel the harmony in the overlapping routines. Even the pauses are significant. Notice how some steps are slow, deliberate, reflective. A man leans on a gatepost, surveying the street. The lines on his face softened by the gentle light. A woman adjusts her shawl, watching children at play, her hands lingering in the fabric's folds. Moments like these are as much a part of the day as work or trade, and you can sense their quiet importance. The way the city gives space for reflection as much as action. The marketplace begins to hum more distinctly now, though never with urgency. Merchants call out softly, encouraging passers-by with gentle words rather than shouting. Buyers pause to inspect wares, turning over fabrics or feeling the smooth curve of pottery. Conversations flow without haste, questions answered in careful, deliberate tones. Even the exchange of coins is measured, the clink of metal blending with other city sounds to form a delicate undercurrent. At the edges of the city, notice the stillness that persists. Courtyards shaded by trees remain quiet, gates partially closed, and a few doors still hidden in shadow. Here, life is slower, more private, untouched by the main rhythms of trade and labor. A cat curls atop a wall, basking in the tentative warmth of sunlight. A child lingers in a doorway, staring at the sky. Even in these quieter spaces, you can sense the gentle heartbeat of the day, pulsing softly beneath all that you see. Return once more to the city streets. Notice the smells, the sounds, the textures blending into one another. The scent of baking bread mingles with the dust of the lanes. The soft jingle of harnesses accompanies the shuffle of wooden wheels on stone. The subtle tang of leather blends with the warmth of the sun on brick and tile. Every sensory detail contributes to the overall harmony, each small perception an invitation to slow your mind, to rest, to sink into the experience. Here, in this waking city, time is not an instrument of pressure, but a vessel of patience. You may wander streets for hours, observing, noticing, feeling, and never sensing haste. Life moves forward gently, as though it has all the time in the world to unfold. And you, drifting softly through the layers of activity, feel your own mind adopt the same pace. Slow, deliberate, immersed in textures, scents, sounds, and light. Finally, take a moment to breathe deeply. Let the rhythm of the city settle into you. Feel the pulse of life, subtle but steady, weaving through the stones, the timber, the air, and the people. You are part of it now, a quiet observer, moving through layers of daily existence. Notice how calm it feels to watch life unfold without alarm, without rush, without schedule. In this city, the day begins as softly as a sigh, and you are embraced by the gentle unfolding of ordinary lives. And as you linger here, watching the city awaken without urgency, you are prepared to step closer still, to peer into intimate moments, to feel the texture of private life, to move from the grand patterns of streets and markets into the soft, close world of homes, hearths, and hearts. Now, step gently away from the busy streets and the marketplace, and let yourself be drawn toward the quieter, hidden corners of the city. Notice a narrow alley that opens into a small courtyard where the world slows even further, where each breath and movement carries the warmth of human life in private, delicate moments. Here, you will peer into the intimate rhythms that make up a day, the textures and sounds that remain unseen from the main streets, yet are vital to the heartbeat of the city. A door creaks softly as it opens. Inside, the room smells faintly of smoke from the hearth, mingled with the lingering sweetness of morning bread. Sunlight filters through small windows, illuminating dust motes that drift lazily through the air like tiny golden sparks. You notice the smooth curve of a wooden table scarred from years of use, and the soft, worn fabric of chairs, cushions that have molded themselves to the shapes of countless occupants. This is a home alive with subtle, persistent rhythms. A woman stirs in the kitchen. Her movements are slow, deliberate, each gesture filled with care. She lifts a bowl of flour. Her fingers dust it white and mixes it gently with water. The soft scrape of her hands against the wooden surface is almost musical. A tiny, delicate percussion that blends with the faint crackle of the hearth. She pauses to inhale the scent of the dough, a comforting aroma of earth, and allows herself a small smile as she shapes it with practiced ease. In a corner, a child stretches under the warmth of blankets, blinking sleep from their eyes. Their tiny hands curl and uncurl, grasping at the softness around them, and you notice the rhythm of their breath, slow and steady. A mother leans down, brushing hair from their forehead, a touch light and unhurried, a gesture that carries a gentle, unspoken promise of care and safety. Every sound, the rustle of linens, the soft sigh of waking, the gentle click of a latch is magnified in your awareness, creating a tapestry of quiet domestic life. Step further into the room and notice the textures, the smoothness of ceramic bowls, the rough weave of linen towels, the polished grain of wooden floors worn thin by years of footsteps. The home is alive, not with urgency, but with intention. Every item, every piece of furniture, every object carries history, usage, and presence. It is as though each surface holds a memory, waiting for a quiet observer like you to notice its depth and resonance. Outside, the world begins to hum faintly. A neighbor's door opens, the soft tap of a shoe against stone echoing gently. The distant cry of a bird drifts in through the window, mingling with the warmth of hearth and the scent of morning. From the street, you hear the faint, deliberate knock of a knocker-upper, reminding the city of its gentle passage from night to day. Within this private world, however, life continues in its intimate, measured cadence. Meals are prepared slowly, deliberately. Eggs are cracked with care into bowls, water boils over gentle flames, and bread is shaped and set to rise. The textures are rich and varied. The smooth curve of a wooden spoon, the rough edge of a cutting board, the cool surface of a ceramic dish. Each movement is a meditation, a practice of mindfulness embedded in the ordinary tasks of daily living. You can almost feel the warmth rising from the hearth, the subtle vibrations of activity carried through the floorboards. A man rises from a bench near the window, his body easing slowly into wakefulness. He stretches, muscles uncoiling with quiet satisfaction, and moves to the shelf where utensils and tools are stored. His hands are rough, but his motions careful and precise, guided by knowledge born of repetition and respect. He pauses to observe the sunlight touching the floor, to feel its warmth on his skin. Before continuing with the small, deliberate tasks of the morning, notice the sounds, the gentle clink of metal, the soft scrape of fabric, the low murmur of voices. Every noise is subtle, yet deliberate, forming a gentle rhythm that underpins the intimacy of daily life. You are drawn deeper into this world, attuned to the interplay of objects, movement, and sound, sensing how ordinary moments carry profound significance when observed with care. Consider the sensory richness of touch in these moments. The coolness of water on hands, the grain of wood beneath fingertips, the warmth of freshly kneaded dough, the soft fabric of a child's blanket. These textures anchor you to the present, allowing your mind to drift into observation and reflection, a gentle meditation on life in its quiet forms. The courtyard outside offers another layer of intimacy. A small garden grows along the wall, herbs and vegetables intertwined with flowers, each leaf glistening with dew. You can hear the faint rustle of leaves, the soft drip of water from a watering jug, the low hum of bees beginning their work. Every element of the natural world is woven into human activity, forming a harmonious, interdependent rhythm. Observe the subtle gestures of care and attention that define intimate life. A parent smooths a blanket around a child. A neighbor leans over a gate to exchange a soft greeting. A cook pauses to taste a dish, savoring the flavors before continuing. These moments are fleeting, delicate, but they carry immense weight in the tapestry of daily living. A reminder that life's significance is often found in the quietest, smallest acts. Even leisure has its texture. Perhaps a woman sits at a window, embroidering a cloth with meticulous patience, her needle gliding through fabric with rhythmic grace. A man leans back in a chair, hands folded over a worn book, eyes tracing the lines of text with soft concentration. Outside, children play with simple toys, spinning tops or skipping ropes. Their laughter, a gentle counterpoint to the steady hum of domestic work. You may notice the passage of time here, not by clocks, but by subtle shifts. The light tilting across the floor shadows, creeping along walls, the aroma of cooking reaching its peak, the soft sigh of wind through open windows. Life unfolds in a measured, organic cadence, each moment seamlessly flowing into the next. There is also the emotional texture, subtle and pervasive. Joy and fatigue, love and patience, curiosity and wonder are felt deeply, gently. You sense a mother's quiet pride, a child's tentative exploration, a craftsman's satisfaction in a task completed. These emotions ripple softly through the domestic space, leaving traces in gestures, expressions, and sounds. Notice how the ordinary transforms into the extraordinary under gentle observation. A simple breakfast becomes a symphony of scent, touch, and warmth. The rising sun illuminates objects, revealing colors and textures unnoticed before. Every movement, from lifting a pan to tying a shoelace, becomes part of a slow, meditative dance, a celebration of life's minutiae. Even chores, often thought mundane, carry a subtle elegance. Water carried from the well flows in a smooth, arching motion. Laundry flaps in the breeze, the fabric catching light and shadow in quiet patterns. Cooking is a tactile performance, stirring, folding, tasting, adjusting. You may even pause to feel your own awareness expand, tracing the textures and rhythms as if they were your own heartbeat. In these private spaces, the world feels safe, measured, and gentle. The intimacy of life, usually unnoticed in the bustle of streets and trade, becomes vivid. Every sound, scent, and motion is amplified in your imagination, creating a slow, immersive meditation on existence itself. You notice how the city, in its broader rhythms, is mirrored in these small, personal routines. The careful tending of home, the attentive care of family, the mindful execution of tasks. Finally, let yourself rest in the presence of these intimate lives. Feel the calm of observation settling over you, the quiet contentment of ordinary moments held in mindful attention. Notice the harmony between human activity and the gentle pulse of the city beyond. The distant clatter of carts, the soft calls of vendors, the rhythmic tapping of a knocker, or blending seamlessly with the warmth and detail of private life. Breathe slowly and deeply. Let yourself be present here in this intimate, textured space where ordinary moments carry extraordinary resonance. Let the gentle rhythm of domestic life, of care and attention, settle into your mind. You are a quiet witness to life unfolding, and in observing, you participate. Your senses and awareness attuned to the delicate beauty of a world waking gently. You are ready to meet individuals whose lives shape the character of this city. Soon, you will encounter a central figure, a person whose presence and story illuminate the humanity of this world. But for now, linger in the intimate life of home, in the softness of routine and the poetry of ordinary existence, letting it gently soothe and calm your mind. Now, allow your attention to rest upon one particular inhabitant of this city, not a figure of overwhelming fame or power, but someone whose quiet diligence and gentle presence shape the rhythm of the streets and homes around them. You may not see their face immediately, but you sense their existence in the soft patterns of life. The timing of a knock, the careful movement of hands, the faint laugh echoing across a courtyard. Imagine a person, let us call them Ilyasa, figure, moving slowly through the early hours. Elias is neither hurried nor careless. There is a serene precision in every gesture. His hands are calloused from years of work, yet they move with tenderness. Perhaps he is a craftsman, a teacher, or one of the city's indispensable knocker-uppers, bridging night and day with gentle taps. His life is ordinary, and yet, when observed closely, it is extraordinary in its calm, purposeful rhythm. Elias begins his day long before most, rising while the streets are still blanketed in mist. The first light filters through thin curtains, painting pale gold across his room. He stretches, easing muscles stiff from sleep, feeling the weight and warmth of his own body, attuning himself to the day ahead. There is no rush, only the soft recognition that time belongs to him, flowing at the pace of the city rather than a relentless ticking hand. He moves to the hearth, where embers still glow from the night's fire. There is a faint crackle as he stirs the coals, a warmth that spreads slowly through the small room. A kettle begins to sing softly, releasing steam scented faintly of herbs dried over the past weeks. Elias takes a slow breath, inhaling the aroma, letting it anchor him in the present. There is a profound satisfaction in these small beginnings, a reminder that life's essence is found in deliberate attention. Perhaps Elias is a knocker-upper by trade, rising to ensure others awake with grace and punctuality. Imagine him stepping into the misty streets, carrying his long, slender stick. He moves quietly, deliberately, tapping on shutters with soft precision. Each knock is measured, neither harsh nor abrupt, waking families gently, allowing them to emerge from sleep at the natural pace of their own bodies. His presence is both invisible and essential, a quiet conductor of the city's waking symphony. Notice the textures surrounding him. The wooden stick worn smooth by years of use, the cobblestones damp from early dew, the soft rustle of linen shutters. The sound of his knock is almost musical, gentle pulse that resonates through the street. As he moves from house to house, he is aware of the individuality of each rhythm. A child who lingers longer under blankets, a baker whose movements are brisker than usual, a mother whispering softly to her household. His walk is interwoven with the life of the city. He hears the faint clip-clop of horses on stone, the soft clatter of carts, the low murmur of morning greetings. Birds stir in the trees, and the first rays of sunlight scatter across rooftops. Elias moves within this tapestry, each step mindful, each gesture part of a larger rhythm. You notice his patience, his attention to detail, his understanding that waking a city is as much an art as a task. Let us follow him into one of the homes. He taps gently on a window shutter. Inside, a family begins to stir. A mother stretches, her hair falling softly over her shoulders. Children blink awake, tugging blankets around them. The sound of the knock is a gentle invitation, not a demand. Elias waits, observing, ensuring that the transition from night to day is smooth, harmonious. There is dignity in this ordinary work, a quiet nobility that often goes unnoticed in the larger currents of history. Elias himself is shaped by small routines that sustain him. He drinks water from a carved wooden cup, noting the smooth grain beneath his fingers. He tastes bread warm from the oven, feeling its texture and warmth as a subtle reminder of life's quiet pleasures. His clothing is practical, comfortable, worn with age, yet cared for. Every choice, from the way he ties his shoes to the way he carries his stick, reflects a mindful attention to detail. He is not without reflection or thought. Perhaps he pauses under a tree, noticing the dew-laden leaves glistening in morning light. Thoughts drift softly in his mind, memories, moments of kindness, subtle regrets, or small triumphs. His awareness is expansive, yet unhurried, allowing him to inhabit the present fully, while carrying the weight and warmth of past experiences with gentle acceptance. Elise's relationships are quiet, woven into the fabric of ordinary life. He greets neighbors with soft nods, offers a hand to help carry a basket, exchanges a gentle word with a child who runs past him. Each interaction is a small thread in the larger tapestry of community. You can sense the respect and affection he inspires, not through grand gestures, but through attentiveness and constancy. The reliability of his presence and the care in every action, even moments of solitude, are profound. Perhaps Elias pauses beside a fountain, listening to water spill gently into its basin. He notices the textures of stone, the shimmer of light on its surface, the way droplets scatter like tiny stars. He may feel the cool breeze on his face, smell the faint perfume of herbs from nearby gardens, and simply exist in quiet observation. These moments shape him as much as his interactions, reminding him, that attention and mindfulness are forms of life's poetry. Consider the emotional texture of his existence. There is patience cultivated through years of gentle labor. There is joy, often quiet and unspoken, found in ordinary sight: the playful laughter of children, the aroma of bread, the glint of sunlight on a window pane. There is care, deep and sustaining, flowing toward others and yet enveloping him. Even fatigue is welcomed, acknowledged as part of the rhythm, not something to be denied or hurried past. Elisa's life is a bridge between worlds, the private and the public, night and day, sleep and wakefulness. His actions, small yet consistent, allow the city to function harmoniously. He understands the subtle balances of human activity, the importance of pacing, the dignity of ordinary work. Watching him, you begin to sense a broader truth: that history is composed not only of rulers and monuments, but of lives lived with attention, intention, and care. Notice how the city responds to his presence. Streets seem to breathe more gently as he passes. Families rise with ease. Merchants begin their work with calm focus. Children stretch and play with the gentle encouragement of routine. There is a synchrony, subtle but profound, and you can feel it settling into your own mind. The world, for a moment, feels entirely harmonious, a soft unfolding of order without urgency. He might pause to polish a wooden tool, ensuring its longevity. He might take time to speak with a neighbor, exchanging news or observation. He might lean briefly against a sun-warmed wall, feeling its texture beneath his fingers, breathing deeply the sense of the morning. Each act is deliberate, thoughtful, and meditative, a subtle poetry of ordinary life. In observing him, you feel a slow settling in yourself. His patience, attentiveness, and quiet dignity become a mirror for your own inner rhythms. The day unfolds not as a series of tasks to be completed, but as a gentle meditation in which each moment is complete in itself. And as Elias moves along his route, guiding the city from slumber into activity, you are carried along in the same gentle current. The streets, the homes, the markets, the gardens, they all move in soft harmony around him. You feel the quiet pulse of life, not dictated by clocks, but by human attention, natural rhythms. Take a slow, deep breath and let this awareness sink into your body. Notice how the rhythms of Elias's day echo in your own heart. How attention and care can transform the ordinary into something beautiful, meditative, and restorative. He is not a hero in the conventional sense, but in observing him, you see the quiet power of a life lived gently, intentionally, and fully. Soon, you will move from Elias's story to the wider world of work, rituals, and beliefs, exploring the textures, sounds, and movements that shape the lives of all who inhabit this city. But for now, linger with him, with the calm certainty of his routine, the deliberate pace of his steps, the gentle poetry in every gesture, and let yourself be soothed, carried along, and made still by the quiet majesty of ordinary life. Step now into the quieter rhythm of work and devotion, where the city's heartbeat is shaped by hands, tools, and rituals. Here, labor and belief intertwine, not as obligations, but as gentle, purposeful expressions of life. Notice how the hum of activity is slow, deliberate, almost musical, a meditation on human attention and intention. In a sunlit workshop, a craftsman shapes wood into delicate forms. The plane glides across the grain, soft shavings curling and falling to the floor. Every motion is rhythmic, repeated, precise, yet not hurried. You can feel the texture of the wood beneath his hands, warm and solid, and hear the faint scrape of the tool, a soothing, percussive note in the quiet room. This is work as mindfulness, each movement a reflection, each object a testament to care. Nearby, a potter spins clay on a wheel. Fingers press and mold with gentle insistence, coaxing the lump into a perfect curve. The clay is cool and moist beneath the touch, pliable yet resilient. Water drips from his hands and forms tiny ripples on the spinning surface. A quiet symphony of sound. You can sense the patience required, the deep satisfaction that comes from shaping a material into a vessel, an object that will hold nourishment, water, or warmth. In the streets, other crafts are awakening as well. A leather worker taps a mallet against hides stretched on a wooden frame, the sound muted yet firm. The aroma of tanned leather, faint and earthy, mingles with a soft sense of bread and wood smoke from nearby homes. A weaver draws thread across a loom, each pass deliberate, creating intricate patterns that will one day form garments. Every task is connected, every movement purposeful, a reflection of the subtle order within the city. Notice the gentle rhythms of water and light as they accompany labor. A fountain spills steadily into its basin, a cool backdrop to hammering and stitching. Sunlight shifts across workbenches and cobblestones, illuminating surfaces and casting soft shadows that dance slowly with the passing hours. The air carries the faint scent of herbs, clay, leather, and wood, layering in a tapestry of aromas that calm the mind and invite attention. Now, consider the city's spiritual life. In a small courtyard, an altar is arranged with care. Candles flicker softly, their flames bending gently with the faintest breeze. Incense curls upward, delicate tendrils dissolving into the morning light. Devotees move slowly, bowing or kneeling with reverence, their breaths measured, deliberate. Ritual is not an imposition, but a rhythm of the day, a bridge between the ordinary and the sacred, a moment to pause and attune oneself. Temples and shrines hum with quiet energy. Soft chants echo, the resonance weaving through stone walls and wooden beams. Fingers trace carved symbols with reverence. Offerings are placed carefully on altars, and the flicker of flame animates the details of frescoes or carvings, bringing them to life in the gentle light. These acts are not hurried. They are meditative, uniting attention, devotion, and tactile experience. You feel the calm settling into your own mind as you observe. In workshops and temples alike, tools and materials carry stories. A hammer bears dents from decades of use. A potter's wheel is scarred by hands that have come before. A carving tool still holds traces of the last piece it shaped. Every object has a memory, a history, a presence. You can almost feel the invisible threads connecting past, present, and future in these quiet spaces. Notice the soundscape carefully. A metal worker hammers on an anvil, each tap deliberate, each pause intentional. The soft clatter of loom threads accompanies the distant murmur of prayers. Water drips steadily into clay, while candle flames hiss faintly as they consume wick and wax. The city's rhythm is multi-layered, textured, a soft orchestra in which every instrument is gentle, precise, and purposeful. Observe the interaction between work and nature. Farmers kneel in soil, planting seeds in careful rows. Birds hop along fences and rooftops, calling softly. Breezes stir leaves and carry scents of earth, wood, and herbs. Even labor has its place in this natural symphony, as humans and environment move in dialogue rather than conflict. You notice the subtle harmony, the flow of energy that passes from hand to tool, from tool to earth, from earth to sky. In homes, labor is infused with ritual. Bread is shaped with intention, stirring dough with care, allowing it to rest. Clothes are washed and mended with meticulous attention, each stitch a meditation. Meals are seasoned with herbs picked from small gardens, each bite a connection to the natural world. Life unfolds as a series of deliberate, nurturing gestures, each reinforcing rhythm, care, and presence. Even children participate in rituals, learning through repetition and observation. They follow patterns in weaving, carrying water, or tending animals. Every small act is both instruction and meditation, embedding patience and attentiveness into the rhythm of daily life. You notice the subtle joy in their movements, the wonder with which they touch, see, and explore the world around them. Now, consider seasonal rituals, perhaps a festival of light or a day honoring ancestors. Small offerings, songs, or dances punctuate the calendar. Each is a soft, communal moment, connecting the present to memory, people to place, and labor to meaning. The city breathes through these celebrations as much as through the ordinary work of waking and tending. Work and ritual intersect in unexpected ways. A craftsman may pause to offer thanks before beginning a project. A farmer may trace a symbol in the soil for protection or good harvest. A weaver may hum a prayer while threading her loom. These subtle actions remind you that daily life and spiritual life are intertwined, inseparable, each enriching the other in quiet, sustaining ways. Notice the textures of this world, the smoothness of a finished pot, the rough grain of timber, the softness of woven cloth, the cool sheen of fresh water. Touch is central to the understanding of life here, connecting mind, environment. Each texture becomes a focus for meditation, a gentle anchor for attention, a reminder that life unfolds in layers of sensation and awareness. The visual tapestry is equally rich. Sunlight glimmers off wet leaves, illuminates workbenches, and glances along cobbled streets. Shadows shift slowly, revealing subtle details in carving, cloth, and tool. Color is muted, yet deliberate, each hue reflecting care and intention. The deep brown of polished wood, the soft white of linen, the faint gold of candle flames, the earthy red of clay. Even sound is deliberate and layered. The hum of conversation is soft, rhythmic, punctuated by the scrape of tools and the tap of wooden mallets. Birdsong floats above, mingling with the distant gurgle of fountains and the whisper of wind in the streets. Every element blends into a meditative rhythm, inviting your mind to slow and attune to the city's gentle pulse. You may notice the connection of all these movements. Work, ritual, and belief form a continuous loop. Each craftsman, farmer, weaver, and devotee contributes to the life of the city. Each small act of attention and care reverberates outward, supporting community, sustaining tradition, and weaving a shared rhythm of existence. You can feel the gentle resonance settling into your own awareness, a soft echo of purpose and patience. As the day unfolds, watch how rituals guide transitions. Morning labor blends into midday offerings. Midday prayers give way to evening preparations. Every action carries meaning, weaving sensory, emotional, and spiritual threads into a calm tapestry. You are a quiet observer of these harmonies, sensing the alignment of human action with larger, timeless rhythms. Pause for a moment and breathe slowly. Let the textures, sounds, scents, and patterns of work and rituals settle in your mind. Notice how these layers of life, physical, spiritual, social, interact to create a calm, flowing existence. The city, its people, and their beliefs are not separated. They are part of a single, gentle current that moves deliberately and beautifully through the hours. Soon, you will encounter the deeper mysteries of this city, the symbolic, the unexplained, the wonders hidden in its everyday. But for now, linger in this space, in the rhythm of labor and ritual, in the meditative flow of work and devotion. Feel the calm of presence, the gentle unfolding of purpose, and let your senses drink deeply from the richness of a world moving with care, attention, and quiet beauty. Now, let your attention drift gently from the daily rhythms of work and devotion toward the subtle currents of mystery that hum beneath the city's surface. Here, ordinary life brushes against the extraordinary, and you may sense a hidden language woven into streets, courtyards, and objects, language of symbols, stories, and quiet marvels. Imagine stepping into a narrow passage where light bends differently and shadows linger just a moment longer. The walls are etched with carvings whose meaning is elusive, yet familiar, like a half-remembered dream. Patterns swirl and curve, each line deliberate, yet open to interpretation. Some say these marks are protective symbols. Others whisper that they trace the movements of stars long observed and honored. You stand quietly absorbing the intricate forms, feeling your mind expand with curiosity and gentle wonder. A small artifact lies on a low pedestal, smooth and ancient. Perhaps it is a tiny figurine worn at the edges from centuries of handling. Its purpose is unclear, yet its presence radiates significance. You notice the careful craftsmanship, delicate hands, subtle expressions, precise etchings that convey stories wordlessly. Holding it in your imagination, you feel the connection across generations, unbroken line of human intention and artistry reaching across time. The city itself carries layers of symbolism. Doors are carved with motifs that speak of protection, luck, or remembrance. Public squares are aligned with sunlight so that shadows trace silent rhythms across the ground as the day passes. Water flows through fountains and channels in patterns that seem accidental, yet deliberate. Every element, stone, wood, water, and light, imbued with meaning, waiting for patient eyes to discover its language. Listen closely, and you may hear whispers of forgotten practices. Perhaps a melody drifts from a courtyard where no one is visible. The notes so soft that they almost dissolve into the air. You sense the memory of rituals performed for centuries, the faint echo of footsteps that once traced the same stones. The city itself becomes a living archive, a repository of gestures, stories, and symbols, each layer folded gently into the next. Some mysteries are tactile. In workshops, a craftsman may pause to inspect a small talisman tucked into a corner, feeling its smooth surface, tracing tiny inscriptions that defy full understanding. Even the simplest object carries quiet magic, its meaning suspended between the seen and the unseen, the known and the imagined. Consider the myths whispered among inhabitants, stories of nocturnal beings, of protective spirits in wells or rooftops, of lost knowledge carried in song or stone. These tales are not frightening. They are gentle companions, narratives that guide attention, instill care, and invite wonder. Children grow up hearing them, learning to notice details invisible to the unobservant eye. A pattern in a tile, a shadow in a window, a faint glimmer of sunlight caught on metal. Some mysteries reveal themselves only at dawn. Perhaps the first rays of the sun touch a carved stone in the courtyard, illuminating a pattern that is invisible at other times. You can sense the delight of the city's residents, a soft recognition of alignment, balance, and hidden harmony. Light, shadow, and object converge into a fleeting revelation, a gentle reminder that the world contains subtleties waiting for patient observation. Archaeological traces tell quiet stories, too. Beneath the streets, a fragment of pottery, a discarded tool, a faint footprint, all whisper of lives once lived. Touching these remnants in imagination, you feel the continuity of human experience. The textures cool clay, rough stone, worn metal connect you to hands that shaped, used, and cherished these objects. Mystery lies not only in their purpose, but in the way they evoke a bridge across centuries, a soft meditation on the persistence of human presence. The city's symbols are often layered. A carved stone may serve both as ornament and guide, a line of poetry hidden in a threshold, or an astronomical marker embedded in a wall. These details invite slow observation, encouraging you to let your mind wander, to ponder possibilities, to feel the quiet thrill of discovery. You notice that even the smallest element may hold meaning, and that life is richer when attention is gentle and unhurried. Light and shadow create their own subtle magic. Notice how morning mist softens the edges of carvings, how a shaft of sunlight illuminates inscriptions for only a few minutes, how shadows move slowly along walls, revealing hidden textures. The city itself becomes a stage, a quiet theater of symbols, gestures, and secrets. Your imagination can trace connections, explore patterns, and drift among possibilities without urgency. Symbols are also found in movement. The careful sweeping of a broom, the rhythmic tapping of a knocker-upper, the slow folding of linens, the gestures of devotional carry meaning beyond their utility. Each action reflects values, beliefs, and a gentle understanding of order. You can sense the elegance in repetition, the poetry in routine, and the subtle wonder in each intentional gesture. You may notice objects aligned with shadow, bowls of water reflecting sunlight, tiny figurines placed at thresholds. These arrangements are subtle yet precise, creating microcosms of meaning. You feel the resonance of intention, the soft energy of care and awareness embedded in everyday life. It is a reminder that mystery need not be loud or dramatic. It can be found in the gentle alignment of ordinary elements. You may encounter talismans and charms, each imbued with significance. Some are protective, others celebratory, others commemorative. Their surfaces are textured with centuries of handling, their shapes whispering stories in quiet, abstract language. Touching them in imagination, you feel the energy of human hope, care, and attention, an almost imperceptible vibration connecting past and present. The city also holds intangible mysteries. Perhaps a street seems quieter at certain hours. A song drifts unseen from a hidden window, or a scent lingers in the air with no visible source. These subtle phenomena create a gentle invitation to slow down, observe, and wonder. You may feel a soft thrill of curiosity, a sense of playful anticipation as you imagine what is hidden just beyond perception. Even the sky participates. Sunrise and sunset paint clouds with delicate hues, their movement echoing rhythms of the city below. Constellations shift with subtle, seasonal precision, tracing patterns that mirror those etched into stones, tiles, and tools. The cosmos and the city are in quiet dialogue, and your mind can drift among the layers, noticing alignments, imagining stories, and savoring the poetry of connection. The mystery is not only in objects or gestures, but also in absence, spaces where things are missing, yet their emptiness carries significance. A window shutter left slightly ajar, a doorway unmarked, a threshold worn smooth. Vici suggests presence, passage, and attention. Your imagination fills the gaps softly, weaving narrative without urgency, noticing patterns and resonances that are felt more than seen. All around, the city pulses with hidden meaning. Small details, the curve of a roof, the alignment of paving stones, the faint echo of footsteps invite you to slow your mind and attune yourself to subtleties. You are both observer and participant, absorbing the soft energy of a place where mystery and intention coexist seamlessly. Notice how the senses interplay. Touch, sight, sound, smell, even imagination all contribute to the perception of hidden layers. The scent of herbs in a garden may signal a ritual. The glint of sunlight on a pot may reveal a symbol. The pattern of footsteps may echo centuries of practice. Every sensory detail is an invitation on interconnectedness and wonder. As you linger, you may feel a soft expansion of awareness. Mystery is not only something to be solved. It is a state of attention, a gentle openness, 2 layers of meaning, a patient observation of life's textures. The city offers you glimpses of the extraordinary, embedded in the ordinary. The profound, hidden within the simple, and the timeless resonance carried by care and intention. Take a slow, deep breath of the soft vibration of wonder settling in your body and mind. Allow yourself to drift among the city's secrets, its carvings, its rituals, its textures, and its hidden melodies. The mystery here is gentle, comforting, and expansive, inviting your imagination to explore without pressure, to notice without judgment, and to rest in quiet marvel. Soon, you will step into the world of power and elites, exploring palaces, temples, and institutions, where luxury, ritual, and symbolism merge in a different kind of gentle rhythm. But for now, linger in this space of subtle wonder. Let your mind trace patterns, feel the textures, imagine stories, and allow mystery itself to soothe and calm your awareness. Now, drift gently from the quiet intimacy of homes and workshops toward the grander, more deliberate world of the city's palaces, temples, and halls of influence. Here, life moves with a different cadence, marked by ritual, ceremony, and the measured elegance of power. Yet even this sphere is not harsh or abrupt. It flows slowly, carefully, like a river bending through stone. Imagine a palace courtyard, just as the first golden rays of sun touch its carved stone walls. The surfaces are cool underfoot, the intricate patterns catching light in subtle relief. Courtiers and attendants move with purpose, their footsteps quiet on the smooth floors, yet their presence is felt as a slow pulse of authority and care. Every gesture, every tilt of the hand is deliberate, contributing to the rhythm of a carefully maintained world. Observe the textures here: polished wood, gleaming metal, and richly woven fabrics. Velvet drapes sway gently in the breeze, casting soft shadows across the marble floors. The scent of incense mingles with oil and spice, a sensory signature of both refinement and ritual. Even the air seems charged with intention, a quiet energy that envelops all who enter. A ruler rises in the early light, attended by those who guide the smooth functioning of daily life. Their garments, heavy with embroidery and subtle color, whisper softly as they move. Hands trace edges of tables or scrolls, smooth over surfaces, polished to a soft gleam. Every object reflects careful design, each detail intended to communicate status, care, and the harmony of order. Notice the rituals of arrival and departure. Courtiers bow slightly, acknowledging presence and authority, their movements slow, unhurried. A servant might carry a tray with delicacies or fragrant oils, each step calculated to preserve grace and balance. These gestures, repeated over time, create a rhythm that is both aesthetic and functional, a meditation in motion, blending elegance with discipline. Temples near the palace follow similar patterns. Columns rise like quiet sentinels, carved with symbols both protective and instructive. Priests and acolytes move with careful precision, handling vessels of water, oil, or incense. The flicker of candlelight illuminates carvings depicting myths, history, and moral guidance. Sounds are measured. The soft murmur of chants, the faint tap of ceremonial instruments, the whisper of footsteps on polished stone. The space invites reverence, calm reflection, and gentle awe. Even meals here are ceremonies. Ingredients are chosen with care: herbs, grains, fruits, and meats combined in simple yet deliberate harmony. Each bite is taken slowly, mindful of flavor, texture, and aroma. Courtiers may partake while seated on cushions or benches. Their movements considered, their conversation gentle, rhythmic, respectful. The act of eating becomes a meditation, a connection to both sustenance and shared community. Notice the interplay of light and shadow in these spaces. Sunlight streams through high windows, casting long, soft beams across floors and walls. Flickering flames from oil lamps dance along polished surfaces, illuminating intricate carvings or delicate textiles. The contrast of brightness and shade creates depth, a visual rhythm that mirrors the careful movements of those within. Even leisure is deliberate. Perhaps a ruler or elder reclines in a shaded courtyard, fingers tracing patterns in stone or wood, eyes lifting occasionally to observe gardens, fountains, or distant hills. Courtiers may join with soft conversation, chess-like games, or quiet music. Laughter is subdued, smiles subtle. Yet the energy is warm and grounded, a reflection of refined attention and cultivated calm. The symbolism here is profound. Thrones, altars, and ceremonial objects communicate values, lineage, and belief. Every motif, every curve, every carved glyph carries layered meaning. Water flowing through fountains may symbolize abundance. The alignment of doors may reflect cosmic order, and the placement of candles may evoke protection or remembrance. You sense that even the smallest detail has significance, a meditation embedded in the material world. Power here is not sudden or violent, but slow and ritualized. Decisions are made with reflection, discussions are conducted with care, and every message, gesture, or decree is considered for its resonance. You notice the elegance of patience, the quiet dignity of measured action, the poetry in deliberate authority. Even the exercise of influence becomes a meditative performance, a rhythm in which all participants attune themselves to subtle cues and long-standing practices. Gardens within these grand estates offer an additional layer of sensory immersion. Water flows gently over stones, fountains glimmering in the morning sun. Flowers release soft perfumes into the air. Lavender, rose, and wild herbs blending with the earthiness of soil and moss. Birds perch quietly, calling in soft, melodious tones. Walkways are lined with polished stone or fine gravel, each step producing a faint sound that punctuates the hushed environment with rhythm and order. Notice the textures of luxury, the softness of cushions, the smooth polish of wood, the delicate weave of tapestries, the coolness of marble under fingertips. Even mundane objects here carry weight and meaning. A quill resting in a carved stand, a cup placed on a tray, or a stone in a fountain is not merely functional. It is an intentional choice, a reflection of order, taste, and harmony. Observe the rituals of preparation and ceremony. Courtiers may dress or undress in precise sequences. Artisans prepare spaces meticulously. Priests arrange altars with care. Each action is purposeful, performed with mindfulness, producing a subtle beauty and calm that envelops all present. It is a world where intention and attention transform the ordinary into the sublime. The people who inhabit these spaces are attentive to sound as well as sight. The soft rustle of clothing, the faint clink of utensils, the subtle cadence of footsteps form a delicate symphony. Even silence is weighted with meaning, allowing reflection, pause, and awareness. You can feel your mind slowing, attuning to these quiet rhythms, becoming part of the meditative flow. In corridors, the air may carry fragrances of incense, polished wood, and subtle perfumes. Each scent is deliberate, a layering of sensory experience that evokes calm and invites reflection. Light, sound, and smell converge to create an environment that is simultaneously stimulating and soothing, grounding you in a rich sensory awareness. Even the smallest tasks take on a ceremonial quality. Lighting a lamp, opening a scroll, arranging flowers, filling a bowl with water. Each movement is deliberate, rhythmic, intentional. You notice the care embedded in repetition, the mindfulness present in every gesture. The grandeur of power is tempered by a gentle, meditative cadence that soothes and engages the senses. Symbols of authority are everywhere. Carvings on walls, emblems on fabrics, patterns in tiles. Each is designed to convey lineage, stability, or divine favor. Yet these symbols are not harsh. They are soft and deliberate, blending into the texture of everyday life while communicating continuity and order. You feel a quiet awe, not of intimidation, but of gentle wonder and appreciation for harmony in complexity. Notice the interplay between public and private spaces. Courtyards, chambers, and gardens transition seamlessly from intimate areas to more formal ones, each with its own rhythm and atmosphere. Light, sound, and scent subtly shift to mark these transitions. Movement through these spaces becomes an exercise in observation, mindfulness, and appreciation. Even the passage of time is measured differently here. Rather than clocks dictating pace, ritual, sunlight, and subtle observation guide activity. You notice that those within these spaces move in harmony with these natural and symbolic markers. A reminder that life can flow according to quiet rhythms rather than relentless schedules. Take a slow, deep breath and let the textures, sounds, and rhythms of this world settle in your awareness. You feel the calm precision of authority, the gentle dignity of ritualized life, the quiet poetry of deliberate action. Power, Here is a soft, flowing force harmonized with the city, the natural world, and human attention. Soon, you will drift into the vibrant energy of festivals, journeys, and gatherings, where the city pulses with collective life, joy, and celebration. But for now, linger in this refined, meditative sphere of elites and ceremonial spaces, allowing the elegance, symbolism, and gentle rhythms to soothe, inspire, and calm your mind. From the still, deliberate world of palaces and temples, remembrance, and shared rhythm, life here is not silent, but alive, with gentle celebration, voices blending into music, steps turning into dance, and streets transformed into flowing rivers of color and sound. Imagine the morning of a festival. The city wakes earlier than usual, but the rising energy is not frantic. No, it is soft and expectant, like the air before dawn, when light slowly spills across the horizon. Market stalls bloom along the streets like sudden gardens, their canopies bright with dyed fabrics, reds and deep blues catching the sun. Fruits, breads, and flowers are carefully arranged, their shapes and colors forming patterns almost painterly in their effect. The air is thick with fragrance, roasted grain, honeyed sweets, spices drifting on the breeze. Children run lightly, their laughter ringing like bells. Their garments may be newer, freshly dyed or woven, and their hair glistens with oil or flowers woven carefully by a mother's hands. Elders sit on shaded benches or low stools, watching the flow of the street with quiet joy, nodding to friends, lifting a hand in calm greeting. Every face seems softened by the light of togetherness, every movement carried by the same invisible current of collective celebration. Notice the music. Soft drums begin, a heartbeat rolling across the gathering. Flutes rise gently, their melodies winding like streams between hills. Voices join in chant or song, sometimes solemn, sometimes joyful, always steady, repeating until the rhythm becomes part of your own breath. The sound is not overwhelming, but immersive, like being wrapped in a flowing fabric of tone and cadence. In the center of the city, a procession may form. People carry banners embroidered with symbols of sun, moon, harvest, or memory. The banners flutter in the breeze, casting shifting shadows on stone walls. Some carry small lamps or vessels of incense, the smoke drifting upward in delicate spirals. Others scatter petals across the path, the ground slowly carpeted in color. Step after step, the procession moves forward with patience, each pace measured, each gesture deliberate, weaving together the strands of story, belief, and community. The festival is not only about ritual, it is also about the senses. Imagine rows of tables where artisans display their craft. Pottery glazed in soft earth tones, jewelry catching light in silver and bronze, textiles patterned with stars, waves, or flowers. Fingers brush over textures, eyes follow curves and shapes. Hearts remember stories of craft passed from elder to apprentice. The act of seeing, touching, smelling, and hearing becomes a meditation in connection. Food plays its role, too. Warm bread, broken and shared. Fruits sliced and offered. Honey cakes, sticky and sweet on the tongue. Jars of wine or fermented grain are passed from hand to hand, each sip connecting one person to another. Eating in such moments is not heredit, is a slow ritual of presence, taste, and gratitude. Each bite becomes more than nourishment. It becomes part of a collective memory, binding the moment into the heart of the community. As night arrives, the city glows with hundreds of lamps. Oil flames flicker in doorways, on balconies, along pathways, turning the streets into a constellation of earthly stars. Music deepens. Drums echo more resonantly. String instruments hum warmly, and voices lift into chorus. Some dance slowly in circles, hands joined, feet tracing patterns in dust or stone. Others sit quietly, eyes reflecting the firelight, listening to songs that carry old stories across generations. Travel is another kind of gathering. Imagine groups preparing for pilgrimage or trade journey. Caravans form outside city gates, camels or oxen waiting patiently, carts loaded with goods wrapped in cloth or rope. Travelers speak softly in anticipation, adjusting their garments, tightening leather straps, exchanging farewells with family. The rhythm here is slower, more expectant, like the deep breath before stepping into the unknown. The journey itself becomes its own festival of the senses. As travelers move across plains, through forests, or along rivers, the world shifts gently with each passing mile. Sunlight glimmers on water, wind brushes against skin. Distant mountains rise with patient majesty. Along the way, fires are lit at night. Stories are told under constellations, and songs echo softly into the stillness. Each stop, each meal, each shared laugh carries the same thread of connection that binds festivals in the city. Even smaller gatherings are marked by rhythm and presence. A wedding in a courtyard where flowers crown doorways and musicians sit in shaded corners. A funeral procession where soft chants rise like prayers carried by wind. A birth celebrated with warm food and hushed gratitude. Each gathering, whether joyous or solemn, becomes a moment of pause in the rhythm of daily life, a reminder that individuals are part of something greater, something shared, something lasting. Notice how the body participates in these moments. Hands join in dance, feet follow the beat of drums, eyes lift to follow banners or lanterns. Even breath itself becomes synchronized, inhalations and exhalations falling into rhythm with music, chant, or silence. These shared cadences create harmony not only among people, but within the listener, grounding you in presence, softening your awareness, and drawing you into rest. The city at festival time is a tapestry of sound, light, movement, and fragrance. Yet, beneath the color and energy lies a profound calm. It is not the chaos of noise and clamor, but the gentle swell of a river carrying everyone along in shared flow. Even as voices rise, the rhythm remains steady, patient, hypnotic. As you imagine this world of festivals and journeys, feel yourself drawn into its gentle current. Let the sound of drums echo faintly in your chest, the scent of flowers drift through your senses. The sight of lanterns flicker softly before your closed eyes. The gathering of many becomes the deep rest of one, the outward rhythm leading inward toward calm. Soon, we will move into the quieter spaces beyond the gardens, libraries, and sanctuaries where the city reflects on itself, where knowledge is gathered, and where silence deepens into wisdom. But for now, rest in the soft glow of lamps, the steady pulse of drums, and the gentle voices of people joined together. The lamps of the festival fade, the songs soften, and once again the city begins to quiet. Night gathers like a great velvet curtain, pulling gently across the streets, across the rooftops, across the fields that surround it. The voices of neighbors grow faint, replaced by the hush of the wind and the distant trickle of water. You feel the pulse of celebration still echoing inside you, like the slow heartbeat of a dream that has not yet ended. And now, you are invited into the softest of places, the places where memory lingers. For every city leaves a trace, every life leaves an echo, and every ritual, no matter how simple, shapes the long story of humanity. Think again of the knocker-upper, the humble figure with their long pole, tapping at windows in the first light of dawn. Their work may seem small, fleeting, perhaps forgotten. Yet it was this gentle act that once ensured the rhythm of an entire city. A single tap of wood against glass could ripple outward into the movement of thousands seen to wheels turning in factories, into footsteps on cobblestones, into the hum of trade and the rise of nations. And so you realize, history is not only shaped by kings and rulers, but by small hands that tap gently at windows, by voices that call softly in the morning, by unseen gestures that guide countless lives. You breathe into this thought, allowing it to settle in your chest. The legacy of those dawns is still with you now. Every time you wake to the sound of an alarm, every time you feel the pull of schedules, of bells, of clocks, you are living in the long shadow of those mornings. We have traded poles and whistles for buzzing devices and glowing screens. Yet the essence remains the same: the collective need to wake, to rise, to enter the flow of life together. Close your eyes and you might feel the city itself as a living being. Each street a vein, each household a cell, each knock a gentle pulse of the heart. The city at dawn inhaled with the tapping of the knocker-uppers and exhaled into the day's great work. And as it did, it grew, it endured, it remembered. What remains of it now? Perhaps only fragments. A faded newspaper article, a photograph of a woman with a long rod, smiling faintly at the camera. Perhaps only stories passed down quietly until even those stories softened into whispers. But here, in this moment, you have restored them. By listening, by imagining, by drifting into their world, you have allowed them to live again, not in the noise of industry, but in the quiet chambers of memory. Legacy is not only in monuments or in stone. It is also in rhythm, in the tapping at dawn, in the steady beat of footsteps, in the way a city moves together, breathes together, rests together. And tonight, you are part of that legacy too. For in this gentle hour of listening, you too have joined the slow, unbroken current of those who lived before you. The city fades now, softly, as dreams dissolve at daybreak. The cobblestones grow misty, the houses blur into shadow, the lamps extinguish one by one until only silence remains. You are left not with images, but with impressions, the faint echo of footsteps, the lingering glow of lamps, the soft tap at a window that may be yours. Let this impression settle in your body like a lullaby. The knocker-uppers of long ago have tapped gently on your heart, not to wake you, but to remind you that rest itself is part of life's rhythm. That sleep, like waking, is necessary, essential, and beautiful. As you breathe, notice the rhythm of your own inhale and exhale. This, too, is an ancient rhythm. The first humans who walked under starlight knew this same rhythm. The city you imagined tonight, with its festivals, its palaces, its humble homes, all of it pulsed with this rhythm. And now, in your bed, in this moment, you continue it. There is nothing left to do. No bells to answer, no doors to open, no windows to tap. Only rest, only the soft drift into sleep. The city of the knocker-uppers has vanished into memory, but its story rests inside you. Now come, steady, timeless. You are connected to its rhythm, to its legacy, to its gentle morning call that will never be lost. So let go. Let your thoughts slow, your breath deepen, your body sink into softness. You are safe. You are held. You are part of the great story of resting humanity. And as this story closes, let these final words carry you deeper into sleep. A city without clocks, once woken by gentle taps at dawn, now slumbers eternal in the quiet chambers of history. Drift off into silence and dreams. Good night, traveler.